Over the past 48 or so hours, I've been utterly routed by a large portion of the Twitter fetish art community, and with that comes massive amounts of mudslinging. Specifically, dredging up the 6-ish-year-old Tumblr post I made when I was 18, detailing a particular Halloween night with my two friends. You can pause and read it for yourself, but let me explain the events as they happened. Me and my two friends were walking around, and one of them spotted two girls, one thin, one huge, and commented that they resembled two characters I used to draw. I disagreed with her, but then the fat girl in question said something insanely in character, and we had a laugh about it. We thought it was such a funny coincidence that we worked ourselves into an amused frenzy, and I proceeded to doodle the scene in question and post it to Tumblr, with the exaggerated description you see here. Simply put, I made a cringy post about a "you just had to be there" humorous moment between me and my friends and apologized shortly thereafter. There was no stalking, no interaction, just me and my friends chuckling amongst ourselves. This post in question is still up. All these years later, it wasn't deleted and it was not hidden. But because of my statements regarding the defacing of a statue of George Washington, some people have taken it upon themselves to spread this post around as definitive proof that I'm some sort of pedophile or child predator, that I must be blocked, reported, and deplatformed at all costs. Here's the thing. The fact that these people did not sound the alarm for 6 years should tell you everything about their motives. This isn't about keeping anyone safe, it's about political opportunism. Everyone knows you can't search for shit on Tumblr. They had this screenshot ready to go at the drop of a hat. These people were more than happy to ignore and stay quiet about this bombshell until I disagreed with them politically. And that should clue you into the fact that they themselves do not believe that I'm some sort of kitty diddler. Hell, most of them are just bitching that I'm some sort of bigoted, alt-right racist. Pick your poison. They either stayed quiet and bit their tongue for 6 years, or they didn't believe it themselves and are only using this to add fuel to the fire, to try and shame me into retracting my statements about the George Washington statue, which I will not. Do not tear down statues of George Washington. It makes the Democratic Party, of which I am a member and voter, look insane. And some of the real crazies don't seem to be content with just defacing George either. That's all I have to say. See ya. I've been seeing people share this post around again. It's from 2014, I think 9 years ago now, back when I was 18. And the TLDR version of it is that me and some friends went out on Halloween and goofed around, and I came home and exaggerated the events of that evening for comedic effect, to try and be funny, try and be edgy, in a very self-deprecating way. I did not actually somehow convince my two black female normie friends to stalk a child on Halloween night for like 15 minutes. That didn't happen. I mean, could you imagine the conversation that would need to happen for that to occur? It just didn't happen. I was just trying to be funny in the same way that if you and some teenage friends went to a restaurant and on your way out you grabbed like a handful of mints, you might say that you stole from the restaurant just to be like a funny dipshit teenager. And nobody really cared about this post until in 2020 I made a comment about the BLM protests and how I disapproved of tearing down statues of like George Washington. And I stand by that because the optics of that were terrible. I don't think anyone with their head on straight would go back in time and suggest to the organizers of Black Lives Matter to tear down more statues of the Founding Fathers. Like, that was just a really bad move. And yeah, ever since then, every like few weeks, every month, somebody will just try and start shit again using this post, and it's just really irritating because I don't know anybody who starts shit on Twitter or like starts drama and gets involved in that stuff. I'm just a really laid-back person, and I'm tired of constantly defending my reputation for the sake of people that just never liked me to begin in the first place.